And we'll be live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I think, yeah. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Typical Skeptic Podcast. I got my good friend Matthew Mournian with me. We're going to hit the intro and we're going to get started. And it's going to be an awesome show. So I hope you guys are looking forward to it. And what's going on here? There we go. Okay. Yeah. It's not moving. This happens to me every time, dude. Like,
it's okay. It feels like it's working on this end. At least we seem to be operational. Put a random series of numbers in the chat if you're perceiving this message on the physical plane. Those of you in the chat, a random series of numbers. What it could be anything. Oh, okay, there it is. There you go. Subscribe. Are you with me, Rob?
8 more subscribers, man. I got that thing programmed in now. You know.
There you go. Boom, boom. Yeah. Okay. Good. Curtis saw it. Excellent. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Typical Skeptic Podcast. Like I said, I have my good friend Matthew Mournian with me, and let me read you about Matthew. Matthew's a multidimensional energy healer, psychic, and intuitive reader who helps remove negative energetic manifestations, unlock soul missions, and help people remember their multidimensional identity. Known for his powerful live tarot readings, Matthew specializes in timeline clearing, chakra repair, energy removal, and DNA activation, guiding others through a profound spiritual transformation. Tonight, Matthew returns for a full disclosure now recap and to offer live multidimensional tarot readings for the audience. And it's just really good to have him back. And Matthew, thanks for coming back on, man. How's it going?
It's going really, really good. We are coming at you live from Austin, Texas now. We just made like the 18-hour jump into the central time zone. So, things are already changing. We're in a whole new timeline if you want to go there. But anyway, it's good. It's good to be back. Hopefully, I think I saw a few of you guys in the chat as well. Maybe some people we saw at the conference. But anyway, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, did you have fun at the conference?
Honestly, it was the only one that I went to this year, and it'll probably be the only one that I've gone to this year. And I can say that the last 2 years of me going to that conference have been honestly amazing. It's been one of the most socially inclusive, least toxic, granted, there's always weird drama, right? Everywhere you go, but, just in terms of the people that were there, it felt more like a family, than some sort of like an ego game or an ego show. And to me, I think that's where a lot of the value comes in. There was a lot of people mixing who would have probably never met in this life had it not been this, moment. And so honestly, I think it was excellent. It was phenomenal. Maybe we'll be back next year, but big thank you to Brian Singh for putting that all together. And anyway, it was great.
Great. I had a blast, man. Getting to know everybody again. And dude, the dance party was hilarious, dude. Like that was totally unexpected that they would have a dance party like that. But it was pretty amazing. It was actually really fun.
Like the DJ was excellent, man. I mean, I'm the least likely to dance at anything, but honestly, I loved it. I thought it was great. Like seriously,
it reminded me of an old school rave. It was exactly like an old school rave. Like it's kind of what it was. It was pretty cool. Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah, I don't know, man. It was. It was. Wow. So you moved to Texas. Like, how was that? Like.
Honestly, so far it has been really good. It feels like definitely you can really feel the difference in energy. That's not to say that Florida was toxic. I think that, there's these things that occur for a lot of us where it's like we get almost like reassigned to another grid area, or what some might call a node point, if you want to use, stupid kind of new age terminology. And I think that's kind of what it was for us. It was just kind of like a mutual knowing that it was time to move from the area we were in. But that said, I absolutely love Florida. We might even move back there. You never know. There might be 3 months down the road and I'm like, oh my God, we're going back. I kind of doubt it though, because so far, we've only been here a few days, but it has been chill. The people have been chill. I can't say anything negative about it so far. There's less humidity for the moment. For the moment there is, but overall it feels like the right move. So we're kind of just chilling out here. for the time being. Who knows what'll happen? Maybe we'll get, instead of a hurricane, like Jason's like less hurricane, maybe we'll get a tornado. I do tend to always live in areas where we have extreme, like weather. I don't know how that happened, but so anyway.
Yeah. Is the food better there, would you say?
Oh, hell yeah. But here's the thing. I only say that from the perspective of a person that grew up deeply enmeshed in like Mexican food culture, because I lived right next to Mexico down in Southern California for like 30 something years. So I think I got, like really spoiled by that. And for those that don't know, none of that exists in Florida. It literally does not. Don't even try to tell me it does either. If you try to tell me it does, that's how I know that you have never lived in Florida, because it doesn't. And it was just, you know what I mean? It's more of like a childhood thing, you know what I mean? Where you grow up eating a certain type of food, and then you move to an area and you're like, whoa, it's literally nowhere here. So I don't know. Maybe it's just like a comfort factor thing. I don't know. I'm a bit like,
dude. Wait, you got that Mexican? Remember me, you, and your wife? We went to that Mexican food place on the conference, and I liked it, but you said it was mid, so like you could tell
it was
that, like,
very mid. Yeah.
Food.
I've actually had like Mexican food all across America. Seriously, it was sort of like a project of mine back in the early 2000s when I was in a band, and we would be on like tour somewhere. I would always go to Mexican places. I can even tell you the absolute worst one I ever went to, I believe, was in Wisconsin, somewhere in Wisconsin. And they give you like a taco, and the cheese was just like a slice of American cheese.
Holy shit.
No, for real, dude. And I was like, wait, what? Oh shit, this is like an all-time low. What's crazy is, from what I recall, is it wasn't actually that bad. It was like one of those things where you're like, I should not like this. This is an abomination. But yeah, so it's been sort of a thing that I've been awkwardly obsessed with.
Yeah, dude, look at this. I just saw this.
How did we even like get on that? That's
I don't know, because of Texas, but like, yeah, dude, I saw this comment. I had to put it up. This is from 444 Mary on Rumble. Thanks for watching on Rumble. She says, hey, Matthew and Rob, from Pismo Beach, California, currently under tsunami watch because of an 8.7 earthquake in Russia. Crazy times. I hope you stay safe out there, Mary. That's scary as hell.
Really? What's up, Mary? It's good. It's
good.
Did
you hear about the shooter in Texas yesterday too? I'm not. There's a shooter in New York. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you know what? I'll just start off on that one, and I don't know. Maybe there's some people in the chat that will kind of agree with me. But one of the things I've noticed is anytime there's some sort of a shooting, and within the next 5 seconds, every major network already has it on coverage. And they've somehow got, a live camera at the scene, and, that whole thing. It smells like the Luigi Mangione scenario, which was, honestly, it doesn't take you don't have to be a psychic to know that was one of the most manufactured scenarios that we've seen, within the last few years. And of course, it's with an AR pattern rifle, you know what I mean? It's like it has all of the hallmarks of like the current, like chaos order, that's kind of like riding underneath everything. But I don't really know what it was about. I was watching some of the news shows. I haven't really been keeping up to speed because we were like doing so much over the past week, and like how it is when you move, it takes a while to like settle and like sit there and like kind of like normalize. But I would say that to me just feels like the latest in a fun series of distractions that like we're going to get to witness. And I'm sure there's something deeper underneath it. But it's one of those things where like it just doesn't really register on the importance meter for me. However, I will say that interesting earthquake scenario, I wonder what that was. I have a feeling maybe some people will have like a prediction or a channeled answer, but I wonder, was that the earthquake device? Was it something getting bombed? Was it some form of an underground thing that happened? What do you think?
That's crazy. I didn't think about that. That's a really good point. It's a really good point. I know, back to the shooter thing real quick. It was weird because I had Tommy Edwards on last night, and Tommy Edwards spoke out against CTE, and supposedly that shooter acted upon, like, I guess it was the shooting was against the NFL or something, somehow the National Football League.
Right. I heard that.
It was against CTE. And I just thought it was weird that I had Tommy Edwards on right, right at that time last night. It was just like a weird coincidence, if that makes any sense. Yeah, I don't know,
To
but
me,
like,
that's not a coincidence. I think that what you're watching is like the sort of lattice of like semi, like coincidental happenings that are all literally related in like in the human world. And there's probably a relevance there. You know what I mean? Given that he was used in a lot of programs, right? As I understand,
well, he
maybe there was
spoke out against
something.
CTE too. That was one big. He spoke out against like football and CTE, and that this shooter had something to do with it. That's what was weird about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
I feel you.
Yeah, I don't know. It probably has no. I mean,
I
I don't
feel
know.
you. I have a feeling by this time next week we will be in an equally weird situation with another socio political event that everyone's going, what? I just hope this time it has to do with aliens, because every time that one pops up I honestly get really excited, where they're like,
Me
there's a
too.
possible object heading toward Earth with a race of aliens. I'm like, god damn, can you please just initiate that now? Let's roll. You know what I mean? I think everybody in the chat can agree, like, really, it's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get it on, man. You know what I mean? Can we finally bring upon us that timeline? But then again, what does that actually mean? Like, when you think about it, does that mean we have to do some kind of a fake alien war? Is it the fake alien invasion? Is that what they're bringing? Is it that there really are some beings inside a Oumuamua-sized, like object heading toward Earth? I don't actually know. But dude, I mean, honestly, I pray to God that would be fun. Even if it was the ultimate psyop to distract from some Epstein list release thing, which is a whole other can of worms. But like, let's say even if it was a psyop just to get our mind off of that, I would be cool with it.
Yeah,
Just for the sheer fun of it, just for the sheer, like, we get to watch everyone else lose their shit and we're like you know what I mean? It's like, to me that would be fun. Anyway, let me know in the chat if you guys think that would be fun, or maybe that's a bad idea. I don't know. Lauren Pritchard says a fake and a real one at the same time. I'm down with that. But maybe the real one already happened. The invasion of the artificially intelligent sentient frequency worming its way through our conscious network. What if it was already here? You know what I mean? Anyway.
dude, what you sent me on Instagram was so funny. It was like that. I can't remember. It said something like, "This is like how the archons know when I'm having a good mood," and it was like a pigeon and it had sonar, and it was linked to like the satellite network. It was like the Rothschilds' Arconic network or something, and it was like
I wish we could show it here on here. I don't know, like, maybe we can, but that's my favorite, like, go-to world like villain. Like, for those of you guys that know, a lot of people will say, no, it's like, it's got to be targeting. Other people say, no, it's the what, like, it's the it's like these guys. I'm like, no way, it's the Rothschilds. It's always the Rothschilds. I don't know why. That's just like my chosen world like villain. Like, if I had to choose one of like the world villains, I would choose them, or maybe Soros, just because he has like this seemingly endless amount of money. You know what I mean? To create chaos in the world. Those would be interesting. Like, if I had to go to the other side, you know what I mean? Not saying we would, everybody, but I'm just saying, if you had to play for the other side, I mean, better them than the World Economic Forum, right? Like, what? Who knows what's even going on there? But anyway, Selena says Peter Thiel is a reptilian. I hope so. I hope he is. Seriously.
Wait, who's Peter Thiel? Why do I know that name? That sounds familiar.
CEO of something. Somebody knows. He's a CEO of like some form of highly placed government corporate entity, as I understand. I don't really know, you guys. Palantir. There we go. Yes. I've seen that guy. Which means now that we've mentioned it, we're on the radar, which is awesome. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else in the news to cover before we start the readings. I don't know.
Love it
Oh,
or
did
hate
anybody
it.
ever get any clarification on that situation that happened at the conference? Like, did you hear anything? Like, remember, it was like I don't know if you saw, but I know you heard. Like, Randy stopped that girl from speaking, and then she I don't know, like she stormed off stage. Then Yemi kind of freaked out on him, but then people found out that like low key that girl was like causing problems, and like people called her out. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, I don't want to talk bad about anybody, but I was just wondering.
All
like,
right. Did I hear anything? I kind of just on the same level as you. I was just made aware of that situation, but honestly, I think the more we can have people with a level of like bravery or maybe brazenness to call things out, I think the more the merrier. I think that's one of the personality archetypes that is sorely missing from the overall kind of like social milieu that everyone's a part of, and those are people that often get demonized, like myself on some level. Although I haven't called anyone out to such a in such a fashion, I've done my fair share of it. And honestly, I think we need more of it. It's not so much, maybe what we're doing, it's the way that we're doing it. And just knowing what little I knew about that scenario, I think that, the thing that he was describing as being bullshit was literally bullshit to begin with. And I think we need a bit more of that. I guess that's all I'll really say on it, because I honestly don't know much more. I've been pretty good at like remaining drama free this year.
Lauren, I just wanted to put this up. What Lauren Pritchard says, she said she seemingly subverted someone else's presentation.
Yeah, I can tell you this much: borderline personality disorder is one hell of a drug. That's all I'll say.
That's
for real, dude. Borderline personality disorder is one hell of a drug. That's all. That's it. Anyway,
dude, that's I don't even know what to. I mean, wow. Well, should we start with the reading? We already got people who donated and stuff, and I guess we could start with Selena and Jason. Selena donated twice for her and Jason, and I wanted to get to Jason's question first because he wanted to know about his dad, because I know he has some situation going on. And thanks, Selena, for donating. That was nice of you. So where is his question?
Selena and Jason, and it was about.
It's about his dad. He wants to know how can he patch up things with his dad. That is Jason's question. I'm going to put up his thing here until I find it. Like, this is just a comment. So we know who we're dealing with is Jason. I'm looking for your comment now, Jason.
It's all good. I think that's a fair and rightful question. And also for anyone else that has questions in the chat, I do also want to prioritize some of those. If you have a question about psychic development, energetic attachment, processes of protection, or just, even really anything within that realm, throw it out there. I'm not saying I have the answers. I'm just saying that's really the only thing I know how to do on Earth at this point. So I'm like,
dude, you got a standing ovation at the conference. I think your presentation was amazing again. And I even when I interviewed Lauren Pritchard the other day, which was your recommendation, by the way, like, she even said like your presentations keep getting better. So,
thanks. I appreciate that, you guys. The sad truth is this will sound dumb, but I'm just being honest. I just dissociate from stuff, and I literally just check out and start talking. And I wish I could say that I had some cool and awesome plan, but that's why I have slides, because it sort of keeps me on track of what I'm supposed to be doing. Otherwise, I just kind of like, it's like this process of placing yourself in the back of your mind and letting this other part of you talk. And I couldn't be more real when I say that. And so it's like I have very little memory of it. I just know that I had a series of messages that I had to convey, and I think we got through like 5 out of 6 of them, which is pretty good, right? That said,
and by the way, she was an amazing interview, by the way. So thank you for that recommendation.
Totally. Lauren has been one of the people I have kept track of this entire time since this journey started. I don't know why. Maybe we've just been on the same timeline in our own, bizarre way. But you know how there's certain people that you'll watch like ride along with you on the human journey, and you might not even really talk to them, but you're just like, oh yeah, they're still rolling. Okay, you know what I mean? Like they're in their timeline, you're in yours, you're kind of watching them. Yeah, she's been kind of one of the people that, we've just been riding along in this weird journey. But anyway, we were going to do a reading for Jason.
Here it is. I found his question finally. It says, what do I do to repair the relationship with my dad?
Yeah, thank you. I had that in mind as I was shuffling the cards, and I feel so much throat energy as you're talking. It's like it's just there's, and I'm just gonna start speaking on it. There's so much that needs to be said. There's so many messages and so many lines that have been crossed, and so much emotional baggage that it can seem like a thing that's unmanageable or undoable at this stage of your journey, whether it's big or small, whether it's like that, or maybe you're just like, yeah, I just need to talk to him, whatever it is. I feel there's just a lot that needs to be said. And how, I guess, maybe is the question in which you're going to go about doing that. I would say from the beginning, it feels like there's a lot of avenues through which you could reconnect with him. And it's not like you'd have to reconnect in this deliberate, like, we need to talk right now sort of way. It'll happen in a natural form. But it does look like you're the one that will need to kind of initiate something. It does feel like that's just, maybe like within the contracts that we have with certain people in our family, that's one of the agreements you made, where it's like, okay, I'm gonna be the one to step forward. So I don't know, maybe you already made that decision, maybe you're already doing that. To me, that feels like it's like you're gonna have to be the one to break a cycle within your generation. So you have to demonstrate a version of clarity and maybe kindness and maybe maturity in a way that your dad was never able to give you. So it's like you didn't really have a very good example of it. So it's like you're not going to know exactly how to do it. But I would just say from an empathic perspective, it's like in the throat. And so we could say it's not what you're going to say to him, it's the way that you'll do it. And anyway, let me just pull a card on that, because I don't mean to kind of like rant endlessly on that. But yeah, I would even say there's something that you're gonna have to deal with or confront. It feels like you're being asked to confront something, even maybe for other people, for something in the future. So it's like you're gonna have to demonstrate some kind of type of a level of strength. But I might be reading too far into it. I might be like diving too deeply into it. But you are uniquely suited for whatever this is. Anyway, let me just pull a card for you so I don't kind of like grow. Okay, actually, I see your comment there. Have had relatives reach out, but he's lying. Okay, that would explain how maybe you need to maybe confront something, but I'm kind of working off the empathic outer field. Let's just pull a card for you so I don't rant endlessly. For those of you assisting Jason and his dad, we're just looking for anything that can be seen or heard about him just dealing with whatever needs to be dealt with. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. That's an interesting answer. God. Okay, great. You know what I mean? They're like, here, let's give you a whole story. So what we received in this scenario for you, Jason, is the Knight of Pentacles, which means you inherited a certain something. You're dealing with things that are also outside of, just like the normal happenings. It's a bloodline thing. If you want to get technical, I know that might not apply or seem like it applies. But really, in this case, you're going to have to just jump forward and take action. You're completely protected. I don't even know if that's a question for you. Maybe you don't care. Maybe that's not a factor. But you're completely shielded and protected, and you're holding something of great value. The more direct you can be, you're not going to get authorization from anyone else or anything. No one's ever going to invite you. You know what I mean? And so I would just say for you in general, in reconnecting or doing whatever you have to do, just know you're completely shielded, but you'll have to take action right now in an area of your life that you're not doing anything in, which is hard. That's a hard one for the Knight of Pentacles. And so I feel like I've described things in an angular kind of way, that there is other details involved that if we knew them could be more tailored to your specific situation. But I also acknowledge we're just doing this over YouTube, so I pray that some of that is usable for you. But just know, as I close on that, you are in the unique position to disentangle something, and it'll be due from what I can tell, in large part based upon how you choose to react and conduct yourself. So I'll leave it there.
Amazing. I hope that resonated with you, Jason. That was great. That was amazing. I thought that was a really deep reading. And family relationships are tough, right? It's like,
definitely. I'm estranged from most of my family. Yeah. Totally.
I hope it works out, Jason. Like I really do. Like, then and the next one is Selena. Selena, did you have a question? And Selena says, "Great reading," and Jason says, "Thank you, Matthew."
Totally. Thank you. Yeah.
And I'm debating on whether to smoke weed. I got these. I picked up two pre rolls from the weed store today. I got some ice cream cake indica right here, and then I got gelato punch in another indica. I don't
would
know.
go with the gelato punch if I was you. For some reason, that one feels right.
Yeah. Now, the Jason would hate these because these are from these are like THCA, and Jason's like a big weed connoisseur.
No, you're right. THCA is very weak. That's mainly what they have here. That's like the main kind of thing. It's like THCA, THCP, and it is very weak. I totally agree. But yeah, you might as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna bite one out. But Jason, they worked for me, man. When I was in Florida all week, and we went to that store, that weed was really good, man. Even though it was, I don't know, it got me. It
Honestly,
worked for me.
Florida hits that loophole hard. I don't know how they do it, but they basically have somehow the legal ability to sell basically regular cannabis. And they can, and they do, and it's like through the the THCP loophole, but they're just pretty good. They're I don't know. They somehow allowed it to happen, and I don't know. To me, I think it's a good thing. A lot of opinions about the weed world in this like community. But anyway, were we going to do a reading for Selena?
Yeah. I was seeing if she had a question. I think she just wants a general reading.
Totally.
Yeah, they have the real stuff here they have the real stuff in Pennsylvania, Selena, but you need a medical card. So it's better just to get this instead of having to buy, because then you have to go to a doctor and get a medical card and you have to buy it. It's like a big hassle, you know what I mean? She asked me today
you can just do it online.
Yeah.
But then it's a thing that you have to keep up, and you have to do like at least in Florida, you have to do like a 90-day like recertification, or it's just weird. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation. We're gonna sort of refocus over toward Selena, and so Selena, wherever you are, I know you're gonna hear this about 9 seconds after I say it, but just take a slow breath, pause wherever you are, just honor the energy of the moment, whatever condition you might be in as you breathe in and breathe out. I feel a little bit of exhaustion, a little bit of overworkedness, a little bit of kind of, if you want to call it, frazzled energy in the mental body. It might just be due to you having a lot going on right now. But the more you're able to generate or sit in silence, it's like you have a lot of, I don't know if it's ancestral or kind of other hierarchies. It's like a whole family network of sort of beings and kind of energies that have been attracted to you. I would say, this sounds silly, I'm going to say it. They like the diversity of your imagination and your ability to remain resourceful in spite of all you've had to endure in this life. You're just kind of one of the beings that they enjoy watching over. And so it's like you have a lot of more communication that's available to you, but there's a fair amount of what I would call just like thought form buildup from the modern world. Maybe you're, honestly, I feel like maybe you're just carrying a lot of energy from other people. Maybe it's a thing that you do, but silence will aid you, prayer will aid you. And anyway, they're very, very, very direct. There's a very good direct connection. I don't know if you buy into the directional access point concept, Selena. Maybe you've heard me talk about it, where it's like, I think everyone has sort of like a directional place within their auric field in which spirit will kind of talk to them. And for you, it was like, I'm drawn immediately upward and to the right, which is not a normal place. It's not a normal place. Not that there's always like a significance, because some people are like, right equals good, left equals bad. It's just like a stupid oversimplification. But I'm not saying that there's like a direct significance that it means something, but it's like there's a very direct transmission that I would say is available to you. And I know you've been doing a lot of readings and other stuff, and to me that it's like you're very well suited for that. It's just maybe it's more silence in your mind is needed in order for something to really kick in. But let me just pull a card for you. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. And whoa, okay. You got a cool sign. You got the 9 of Wands. Honestly, I love this card. You are currently being prepared for something in this now moment. I'm not telling you that I know what it is. We're not here to define it, but the 9 of Wands shows up at the final stages before you're given an opportunity to launch yourself forward in some way or some form in this life. And it's based upon other lives, other times, old skills, abilities, things that you've kind of accumulated over the human journey. And even before that, that's why you have all those wands behind you. But the 9 of Wands shows up, and probably at some point in the near future, you're going to get an option, you're going to get a direction, you might get an opportunity in some way, you might become inspired by something. And, you know, there's a good chance that if you don't watch out, you'll hesitate, because that's the downfall of the 9 of Wands. You must not hesitate. When a chance or an opportunity approaches you in the coming days or weeks, understand that even if it's the wrong decision, you must not hesitate, because that's the downfall of this energy. It's telling you that they're trying to push you forward in a certain way, but you have to be willing to leap forward and have faith in that sort of leaping forward thing. Because for a lot of people, we came to the point that we are at in a previous life. You were, it's almost like you were at this point last time in the video game and you didn't beat the final boss. You know what I mean? Sorry to make it like in that silly kind of like metaphorical realm, but thank you guys. And this is for everyone out there that's trying to understand tarot. Think of the 9 of Wands as that scenario where it's like you're back at the last stage of the video game once again. And last time you didn't beat it, you know what I mean? So it's like you have to change your strategy, you have to change your movement, you have to operate in a different way. And honestly, it just says that you're ready. It says that you're ready for something. And anyway, that might just be very vague. Wild.
I just, you know, pertaining to your reading and regarding what she said. So she left a comment in the chat. She said she was going to go to the Psy Games, but she decided not to go. So for people that don't know, Selena actually got selected to take part in the Psy Games, but she's deciding not to go. I would say, Selena, just me knowing you, that you're very psychic. You know how to manipulate energy, you know, not in a bad way. You can do energy healing and stuff. Like, I think you should reconsider that and go, because you could represent yourself. And like, it's kind of like how it ties into Matthew's reading, you know, like maybe you, I don't know, I would maybe reconsider. I'm not meaning to put her on the spot or anything like that. I just know how psychic she is, and I think she could do really good there, you know, like, I mean, I don't know.
I think there's a chance that you could do really well. I'll be real with you. I pulled a card on it right now. I'll share it with you guys if you want me to, but let me just say before that, Selena, I and for anyone else that's on the verge of jumping into what we would call performative or competitive intuitive arts, because that's going to become a thing on a greater level in the future as well. Just so you know, it's going to get more and more performative, more and more competitive. To me, that is just not the path that I want to go down. I don't want to be one of those people that's like, I'm going to mystify you by bending the spoon over in front of you. I don't want to be somebody's, you know, performative, like dancing monkey, you know, the psychic dazzler, you know, one of those people. To me, I think, and I'm not saying that you're this type of person, Selena, because I know that we know each other and you've been around, but it's like, honestly, you're beyond that. I think that you are beyond the need to go to some place and to try to, like, you know, compete with all these people to, like, you know, move objects or like do things. And it's not to say that you can or can't, because every living person can. It's just that it's like, I think that you're already beyond the stage of needing to prove that to yourself in the world. And like, if you feel like spirit guided you to not go, I think, honestly, I'm going to be real with you. I think it's because a lot of that stuff is bullshit. And a lot of that stuff is set up, and it's going to be based upon favoritism. Who is the governing body that says, you know, they're the psychic expert that's running that thing? Who's the judges to say what is authentic? There's no certification. There's no, you know, like review board in the world of psychic energy. It's all subjective. And there's going to be a lot of people that stand as gatekeepers who don't even know what energy feels like, who are going to be the ones that are telling you who's real and what's not real. And it's like, I don't know. I honestly think, like, if spirit guided you out of that, good for you, because you don't need it, you know. And I don't know, maybe that's me, but Sorry.
That's a really good point. I didn't even think about that.
Oh, no.
I didn't think of it from that perspective. That's a really good point. You know?
I'm going to show you the card that I pulled on it. I'm not trying to make this a big silly thing because I'm really not. But just so you know, the card that I pulled for you on that, it was like, what? Oh,
The death card. Wow.
like a very direct, like, no. But here's the thing, because like you guys never forget, whenever death comes in, it is going to say no to your question in the heart of the moment. Like that's just what it does. It's meant to. But it's this door is closing, another door opens automatically. And I think that what's going to come to you next is more opportunity to express the individuality of your abilities in new ways. I think that that's coming in for a lot of us in this soul group right now. And I think maybe if you wanted to, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say this, and we're gonna move on after this comment, but maybe if you wanted to work on some areas within your energy body through which you would allow yourself to get those opportunities, I would go straight to the root chakra, just because there's just a lot of shakiness there. There's just, there's a lot of need to unlearn what you have learned, anyway. That's a lot of us, though. That's also me too. So, yeah. Anyway.
That was amazing. The next person is Carrie Hanlon, and I try to keep these people in order of the way they donated and all that stuff. But so she didn't have a message on PayPal or a message on here. Carrie, do you have a question, or do you just want to kind of go for it?
There's no questions needed if you don't have one.
Okay.
Which is weird, because I used to be like, no, you must have a question. Like, I swear to God, back in the old days, I would be like, if you don't have a question, then I'm not going to give you a reading, which in some ways I still kind of agree with, because you guys, the reality is, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but there is no choir of spirits just sitting there on the other side of the veil going, oh, so-and-so's here. We have a message from, like your great grandmother. You know what I mean? That dynamic, as far as I can tell, does not exist. It's a call and a response. You know what I mean? A lot of times there's energy, or there's emotions, or there's remembrances, but those will oftentimes be passed on to the individual. And so in some cases, I guess what I'm saying is, it's like, it does help to have a question, but I think it's very reliable that we can just look at the energy of the moment and say, what do we need? What do we need to know? You know what I mean? And so I guess we'll do that for Carrie Hanlon, 88.
She's from Australia.
Oh, nice. Cool. We get a lot of people from Australia. I would say, other than the United States, that's the second most country of people that book with me. For some. Oh, you guys just mentioned the glasses. You don't even know. Hold up. What? I was actually going to wear them, literally going to wear them. So,
oh, those are cool, man. Yeah.
No, for real. I was going to wear them because it's like, I can actually see better with them, because they're both like prescription, but like for some reason, like the sunglasses, just, it's way sharper on the screen. So there is actually a reason, but anyway, okay. This is for Carrie Hanlon. I'm sorry. We're totally stalling. I'm making it lame. I don't have the holy water to drink right now, you guys. We just moved. I'm in literally an empty room with a bunch of bags over there in the corner. But to be fair, the previous apartment we were in, where I did readings and did work, was kind of an empty room with a bunch of stuff on one side. So it's not necessarily that different. But anyway, this is for Carrie Hanlon. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Carrie Hanlon, you got a very interesting image. And so I guess what comes along with this, first off, are some questions. And to begin with, you have the 9 of Swords, and maybe you can see it on your screen, and you'll probably look at it and go, what? Everyone else got a cool image. I got this woman sitting up in bed looking totally overwhelmed with all kinds of swords everywhere. Great. Oh, God. What does that say for me? I'll tell you specifically. It's a lot of mental activity. And, maybe lately you have been overwhelmed with certain energy. Maybe there's been issues or certain like relational things. Maybe there's just been too much mental chatter. Maybe you've been trying to deal with a certain situation socially, or sometimes even emotionally. within your relationships or your day-to-day world, and it's getting to a breaking point. And maybe not, maybe you don't have any of that energy going on right now, but just in case you have, let's say if things have been becoming pressurized and tense, and you find yourself maybe waking up at night in times when maybe you didn't in the past, that's the Nine of Swords. And it usually is the last stages before overwhelm of something. And so here's the thing: just because we're doing one card readings on social media, I try not to apply that energy to you. There's a lot more that we could discuss about it privately. But what I would say is, when we ask for messages from spirit, the Nine of Swords is very specific, because Nine of Swords will say, clear your mind, deal with the things that are overwhelming you. And that's usually going to come from not necessarily even solving those things or those problems. Swords are best communicated. They come through our words, they come through our thoughts, they come through psychic energy, they come through chi energy. They're not really actions. They're the things that we say and the way that we say them. And so we could say, from also another perspective, that a Nine of Swords in your life is asking you to speak about certain things that have been perplexing you or overwhelming you right now. Sometimes it's just meeting with a person and just talking and grounding yourself. But and then every once in a while you're just in a stressful stage. I'll just be real. Every once in a while there's not some grand spiritual meaning behind it, and the Nine of Swords will come in to say, hey, look, you might be really stressed out right now, or you might be stressed out in the very near future. Don't allow it to overwhelm you, and please communicate with those around you if you're going into it. Because, sometimes you'll be like, no way, dude, I'm on the opposite end of that, man. Everything's smooth. Don't accept it unless it feels relevant to your timeline. And your body will kind of tell you. Like, your body will tell you what is true and what's not true. So there you go. I see your comment. We could say this is asking you to sort things out in a very specific way. You'll do it through speaking. You'll do it through clearing the mind and through having conversations with people, sometimes in weird angular ways. I guess we could say, because swords are angular and sharp. They might cut both of us at the same time. You know what I mean? But yeah, they're asking you to talk about something. Maybe not even with that one person. It's just saying like, hey, you know what? You should talk about this thing. I guess that's the message that we're. Anyway, I'll stop there. I hope it helps.
Muted. Is it unmute me? There we go. I was muted. Yeah, that was amazing. Oh, it resonates with you, Carrie. And
thank you, Carrie Hanlon. I hope it helps.
Hope everything's good down under. I'd love to go to Australia someday. It seems like it's so amazing there.
I would as well. I've had honestly, I've had so many good clients from Australia down there. Some of the most long-standing people that I have worked with have been from Australia. I mean that sincerely, where I'm always like, wow, another person from Australia. I would say there and the UK are the two biggest places outside of the US. Yeah, the UK being third.
They said today that Miles Johnson might be having a conference. I know that Drago's, I don't know if you heard that. We talked about it during Drago's show. Supposedly people are going to go to the UK for Miles Johnson's conference, which I don't know if it's going to be like an extension of Full Disclosure Now, or if it's like Miles' own thing, or what's going on with that. But I know Miles.
Cool. I would love to see them team up. I would love to see him do his own conference. I would love to be able to go to one like that. I would even love to be upon like the list of cool people that will be asked to be a part of things like that. Historically, I have not been, so I'm like, that sounds like an awesome thing. I would love to check that out. But yeah,
hopefully, they do it and stuff. Yeah. Let me see here. Okay, the next one was Nat Janoff, and here's his profile. And he wrote a message on PayPal. He says, hi, Rob and Matthew. Love the show. Matthew, I always appreciate your readings. I have a lot of debt. Do you have any advice on manifesting? I don't really want to try and teach 30 people a week. He does music. He says, I would love for either to get higher paying gigs, clients, or create a Patreon. What advice do you have? Anything you say is appreciated, he says.
Yeah. So the object of the moment is to make money and get out of debt, just so I understand, which is a very rightful goal. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Don't ever let people in a spiritual community tell you it's wrong for you to try to accumulate money or wealth even. That's almost like a dirty word for some people in certain circles. Wealth, what? Oh, God. You know, they get all twisted up about it. I would say, like, and actually here, we're gonna directly attempt to connect in the moment. So like I said with other people, Nat, you'll hear me say this like 10 seconds afterward, but just take a slow breath in with me. Just cool and slow and easy. Release it as you please. And we're just going to take a quick look at your energy field. And yeah, okay, it's like I can already feel it, so I'm just going to speak upon it. But there's a lot of just belief systems and faulty teachings and kind of behavior patterns that were adopted in early childhood that seem to be contributing to your feelings or just the ways in which certain debt has accumulated for you, or your behaviors around money, or how you handle it, even how you restrict yourself from it. I would say like the first kind of pulse of that sort of source of energy comes from the root, which, I mean, and there could be others. That's just the one that shows up right now in the biggest way. And I would say like step one would be really examining and unlearning what you were taught and the way you were programmed by early childhood about like what you can and cannot have. I know that reply in and of itself will seem meaningless because it doesn't solve anything for you right now, right? It's like, so this guy's saying, yeah, examine this thing in your life. You're like, okay, cool. And that's going to help my bank account grow. It's like, I get that that doesn't bring like, you know, like a finality to it. But it feels like there's a certain pattern that you have of like accumulating and then losing money over and over and over again. And the cause comes from that. It comes from like early childhood social programming that was placed in you that you don't even recognize anymore. So from the start, you have the ability to end that. Let's see. Actually, there's nothing. Thank you. There's nothing else that needs to be said on the energy body. We will pull a card for you, though. We'll pull a card. For those of you guys assisting now, what needs to be known about what does he need to do to make more money? Well, I would say like if there's a phrase or a message that comes along with it, it's that you already have the skills and abilities right now in this moment to generate a massive increase, whether it be in money or opportunity or even meeting people that would draw more people to you. It seems as though you have those resources, and maybe there's a certain type of complacency in your life, or maybe, and this could also go back to programming, it's like maybe there's a part of you that feels like you don't deserve it. And, you know, honestly, you could even be bringing in a lot more students. It looks like you have a lot of avenues through which you could increase this. And I guess the hard part is, you know, just doing this in a one card fashion over on YouTube. It's not like I can tell you like this specific thing or that specific thing. But it's like, I would say from an examination perspective in this moment, like you have massive areas of opportunity. I can tell you where they are, you know, like we mentioned, you know, within the root. I would say within the gut, you have an incredible judgment meter that allows you to kind of be pulled away or towards certain people or places. You might not be listening to it right now, which, you know, is very, very normal. The throat is very alive and open, which I guess would make sense if you're a, you know, like a singer perhaps, or just maybe you just play guitar, but the throat is very, very open for you. So it's like you have all the skills, which I guess isn't giving you an answer. Let me just pull a card for you, and then we'll move on. Because sometimes that'll happen. They'll be like, well, he's got this, he's got that, he's got all the ingredients. And I think, you know, could be other factors involved. But for those of you guys assisting, what does he need to know? So I don't keep talking on and on. Here we go. Oh, whoa, weird. Oh, you got the moon. Wow. Oh Lord, that's a fun it's a fun answer. Nat Janoff, do you know they're asking you to, number one, engage in higher levels of spirituality when it comes to manifestation, or when it comes to the harnessing of your elemental powers and your abilities. They're asking you to grow closer to spirit. However, when the moon shows up, it could be in really good ways or it could be in chaotic ways. We could go a little bit mad in the process, but one of the solutionary channels for you right now is going to have to do with personal ritual, with, manifestation rituals. And I know like ritual is such a loaded term, right? You could use the word ceremony or just very intense repetitive cycles of prayer. We could even say, when you guys see the moon and you're wondering what it is that I need to do in the world of tarot, and the moon shows up, the moon is the universal intensifier of all forms of energy, physical, non-physical. Just like when the moon goes full and people go crazy and everyone goes to the ER, or a bunch of people call 911 more often, the moon shows up and everything just opens up in your world. And so people that want to make use of it, this is a time in your life to begin doing contract renegotiation ceremonies, to do rituals, to kind of, make manifestation lists. But don't forget to follow through. There's a lot of physical follow through that needs to take place. And that might be one of the areas in which, you're needing help to step forward, is to follow through on certain decisions. It looks like, once again, you have a lot of directionary energy there. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap up by saying I think it's time for you to do a contract renegotiation ritual, and this is for anyone else that needs to hear this. What is that? How do you do it? You get a literal, write this by hand, and you get a pen and paper, and you write, I insert your name here, currently existing in a human body on planet Earth in the year 2025. Now give full authorization for the following events to occur in my physical incarnation, or something along those lines. You get to choose your own language, and then you write your own list, and you must write the list from past tense perspective, meaning you write it as if it has already happened. Some of you guys are going to be familiar with that kind of aspect of manifestational energy. You write a list of things that you were dreaming of, that you were wanting to manifest, from the perspective of it already happened. Like you're giving thanks, like, thank you for finally giving me this, that sort of thing. And then the way you follow through on it is that you must then take that list out into nature, into a private place, into a place where you can declare it to spirit, and you will stand out there and you will read it aloud as if you were addressing all of your family and friends and everyone that's with you. You know what I mean? It's like a public address that you're giving, which is why I say go out in nature, a place where no one's going to hear you, and you stand up there and say it. I've done it on the roof of buildings in Los Angeles. Literally, I did it on the roof of a building in Los Angeles in the height of an eclipse. And honestly, it was a process that helped me change my life. I'm being totally real with you guys. I think that one of many reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing now is because of things like that, because I was willing to become so dedicated and so certain that it was going to do something that I wrote those lists, and I went out in nature and I would literally call out to it. But don't forget the most important part. After you've read that list, you must destroy it. You must grind it into the earth. You must treat it as a piece of gum that you're spitting out of your mouth, like a husk of used up energy. It is meaningless. Plant it like a seed, burn it, pulverize it, destroy the list, and then walk away from it and literally forget about it. You wouldn't think once ever again of a piece of gum you spit out of your mouth, right? You just spit it out and walk away. You'd never think of it again, right? Treat the list like that. It's like you cast its energy aside. And honestly, for a lot of people, you'll get changes. I think it's really more about what you're open to and about what spirit, I think, on another hand, thinks is best for us. Not to say that is or isn't how it works. I've just noticed that's how it is in my life. For a lot of those things that I tried to manifest in 2017, when I did the same thing during an eclipse, a large amount of them have literally happened in my life, as evidenced by the fact that I'm sitting here right now. Is literally a sign that I must have did that right, because I don't know, maybe I would or I wouldn't. I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm just kind of rambling. Sorry.
That's amazing, dude. I'm gonna try that, man. Like, I'm gonna really try that. Like, because I've tried everything from sigils. I've tried subliminals. I've tried affirmations. I have luck with subliminals and affirmations, but I can usually manifest a certain amount. But then it's like I have to keep doing it over and over and over again. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird. Like, you know, like I might try something like that. Did you call that like, is that like the law of assumption, like, somewhat?
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with the law of assumption, or maybe it's the law of attraction. I just know that whenever we engage in a deliberate spiritual process and you allow, and this is one of the key elements, I think, maybe for me, maybe not for other people, but I just know that when I was engaging in that most heavily in like 2017 and 2019, it was like I put so much emotional energy into it that it was like I was weeping as I was reading it. And I'm not saying that's what people need to do, but when I look back at like what like we would call the operative force of energy that gives it that sort of push, I believe for me it was my emotions. It was that I was willing to like really, really feel into it so hard that it was like I could just feel this deep well of emotion come up within me, and I would be reading it and my voice would be shaking and I'm like, you know what I mean? It's like you gather so much of that essence of yourself. I think for me that was the key, and I think maybe for other people that are hearing this that are wondering, how come things don't work when I just write it out and say it out loud, repeat after me. Maybe harness that emotional body, like really use your heart. I don't know. Maybe that's too basic. I don't know. Maybe it's
No, I like it. I'm gonna try it. Honestly, I think it's a really good. I think it's interesting. The next one we got is Chloe Ariel, and I was hoping to see her at the conference. I don't think she ended up making it, but she's from Australia too, and her question is, she says, I would like a reading too, general reading where I'm headed and where I can show my show again. She says, and I know a little bit about Chloe. I know she's targeted too.
Yeah. Let's see what shows up. Oh, and I see your comment there, Selena. I think the other part of it is that we have to be willing to become obsessed with certain things that we're manifesting. Kind of like, it's like you have to place this incredible amount of focus on perceiving yourself with a thing. It's like that whole select it, or like, what is the acronym? Select it, expect it, project it, collect it. It's like, number one, you decide what it is that you truly desire. Number two, you give yourself permission to receive it. So you expect it and you're like, yeah, it's coming to me. I know I'm getting it. And then you have to project it out to the world, meaning you talk about it, you obsess upon it, everything's about it. And then with absolute assurance, then it pulls something into your life, which I guess for some people is oversimplified. There's all kinds of really rightful, I think, criticisms of manifestation stuff. I mean, just like the word in the right social circle of new age bullshit, it just sounds like this like diluted script of things that people throw around and like a vanilla like meditation. And then I think for other people it can just be this thing where they're really putting their real heart's desire out there to the world, and by really investing that energy we'll also bring something into our life. I'll be real, I've done it like this year where I have really kind of like projected things into my I guess we could say reality this year. I mean, really, there's a few things I can think of where I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely brought that in. I was very specific about it. Anyway, I'm sorry to go on and on. We're going to do a reading for Priestess 101. Here we go. Thank you. Thanks for waiting, everybody. Oh, and so what was her first name again? I just see Priestess 101.
Chloe Ariel.
Here we go. For Chloe Ariel. So we'll just pause and take a slow breath as we honor all those of you alongside Chloe Ariel at this time of year in the year 2025, just asking what's important, what needs to be known, where she might be headed. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Boom. We're going to start with this. Chloe Ariel, you got a really interesting sign. You got an 8 of Pentacles. And honestly, guys, for those of you guys out there trying to learn the world of tarot, 8 of Pentacles is never something to be ashamed about. It's never something to be worried about. In fact, honestly, Chloe, there's a realism and an authenticity to you that I think you really need to be aware of, like a realism and an authenticity. When you have the Eight of Pentacles in your life, there's really nobody that's going to be able to look at you deeply. They'll never be able to say you're fake, because you're not. You're absolutely doing it. You're absolutely real. This is a good authenticity indicator in the world of tarot. It'll also say that you have a lot of hidden abilities and skills, things that you might not be showing the world, which is kind of where we run into problems with it, because the Eight of Pentacles will come into your life, and it's like you'll be doing all this work in the background, bettering yourself, working on things, getting ready maybe to launch yourself into a new place. And, you might look over your shoulder and notice that you just keep doing the same thing over and over again. Not that that's always the worst thing, although that is a problem for the Eight of Pentacles. But honestly, when you say, put yourself out there again, when you say, where might I be headed? One thing I can tell you with the Eight of Pentacles is it really does need to be a different location than you were last time. Meaning if things went wrong in your life, or you had to retract yourself, or maybe you've just been, putting things on the back burner for a while, and you've been thinking about returning to a certain place or a thing, the Eight of Pentacles says you're going to do better if you take it to a new location. Maybe sometimes a new friend group, a new social scene. I'm not saying that you have to do that. It's just that if you really want your unique value to be recognized right now, you're going to have to allow yourself to be seen in certain ways that sometimes you're not going to be comfortable being noticed like that. Like, you have to be able to show yourself and the wealth and the real specific energy of who and what you are on a deeper level with the Eight of Pentacles. Otherwise, people are never really ever going to know you. And that's, I guess that's kind of one of the issues with it, is that, Eight of Pentacles will have all kinds of amazing stuff and nobody will really know it. And so I would say right now, if you're wondering, like, it's because I don't necessarily understand your comment about when you can, like, when my show again, maybe show yourself, or maybe you're doing a show. I'm not sure what the whole energy is around that, but just know it's ready to be seen. It's just you have to do it in a different way. You have to bring it somewhere else, I guess we could say. And anyway, I'll stop there. I hope it makes sense.
I hope she continues to do her show. I know a little bit. I know I've had Chloe. She's come on my show before. She's an amazing person. I know she used to do Whimsical Wednesdays on her show and stuff. But I think she was being targeted, and I don't want to speak for her, but like, maybe it got to be a little bit much. Maybe that's why she didn't come to the conference. I don't know.
That makes sense, man. That makes a lot of sense. There has seemed to have been, which you're going to trip out because this is something that you wouldn't expect me to say, Rob. There has been what I believe to be a great uptick in the targeting of many individuals within our soul group over the past couple of years. I worked with a person just this afternoon who was a very real, very authentic targeted, person, through whether it be through program or spiritual means. But it is definitely a thing that's been happening. I guess that I kind of come to terms with the fact that I've been blessed to not have to experience those things on such a level. Not saying I don't get attacks and negative things don't happen in my life. I just have not had to receive that same type of targeting. I'm not saying that, strong, weak, better, worse, but I give, sympathy for all those that definitely have to, because it seems like a lot more people are getting it lately. So anyway, hang in there. Keep on fighting.
I have a question. Do you think it has like an uptick with like the energies or something like that? Or like, do you think it's like
Man, that's a really good question. And I guess if I was going to try to put an answer on it, I would say that it seems to be different based upon the individual, meaning that there's going to be some people that I've encountered over the years who I believe were very much a part of some type of, not like a MyLab thing or a SSP thing. They were on some form of a list that just meant they were going to receive a certain type of thing, and they just had it, and it was almost on a schedule, and there was almost like there was nothing they could ever do, and that was a thing. And I've also ran into people that have had the spiritual version of it, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that it's a thing that it kind of rises and falls. I think there's sort of waves of opportunistic energy that'll come around at certain times, kind of like that old saying, when you go fishing, you never know what you're going to catch. And I think there's certain maybe periods in the year or times in which certain energies, maybe it's an astrological thing, which honestly I wouldn't know, because for those that don't know, I'm the least astrological professional psychic in the world. I don't, it's like, I'm all empathic energy, but it's definitely a thing that's happening, and I'm certainly witnessing it. So I guess what I'm saying is it really depends on who we're talking to, and it depends on who we're talking about. Some people will even be manifesting those attacks upon themselves, which is a tricky one. When you run into those people, that's a hard one. They're usually the most convinced that it's coming from an outside source, and that is an effect that'll happen for deeply talented, deeply psychic, deeply empathic people. Your energy body can be sort of tampered with or set to these settings that will cause you to attack yourself and to manifest very strange and bizarre illnesses and maladies and all kinds of stuff. It's actually really, really wild. You can even like create, like physical eruptions in the skin and all kinds of stuff. I've encountered a few of those people over the years. They've literally sent me pictures of them digging into their body with scalpels and pulling out invisible worms, and it was like,
holy shit!
I swear to God, they're still buried in my email. Oh yeah, man.
Dude, that's serious shit.
That I put out, and I'm like, well, I can't say that I do, but I believe that you understand you have that. And my belief at the time, which isn't always a thing you can tell people, you know what I mean? I would say it's rarely ever a thing you can tell people unless you're able to really articulate it. It's that you are so powerful that you're creating this situation in your own life. Nobody ever wants to hear that, you know what I mean? No one ever wants to look at that, and yet that's in reality for a lot of people. It's a strange thing. It's almost like spiritual autoimmune disorders, you know what I mean? Where like it doesn't affect your organs and your immune system. It affects the way reality and events and you perceive people and things around you. And anyway, I'm just kind of rambling, so sorry.
Yeah. We'll get to the next one. It's crazy about the shit that can happen. Really, I mean, like, this is Renee Nagel, and she's a doctor. I can't remember what she's a doctor. I know she does that EMDR therapy, which is the rapid eye movement therapy, and she's like a hypnotherapist. And she says her question is, she says she's in a relationship where both are very committed to each other, but they have been in circumstances that have prevented them from being together in person. What is the block? And she sent $10. Thank you.
What is the block? That's a very good question. Why is there still a distance between these two people? And what do we need to know about it? Is it on one side? Is it on both sides? Let's take a slow breath in. Anyone out there that wants to play along, I'm saying that sincerely. You can take a deep breath in with me as well. In 3, 2, 1, breathe in. Just hold it for a moment and let it out. So one person is Renee, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have the name of the other side, or just even if it's a symbolic name? If you can get a name, that might help. But I realize that question could have been asked a while ago, so that might not be necessary.
Renee, if you're still in the audience, can you tell us the name of the other person you're in your relationship?
Even if she's not, it's okay. I don't want to. It's not really like it's not really a barrier. It would be like, it's sort of like a cheat. I'll just actually I will be real. I'll tell you why. Oftentimes, you guys, when you're connecting with a person's energy, you really just need their first name only. There's no need to be like, so and so, born on such and such date in the year, blah, blah, blah. It's like, honestly, it's very much like, like the law of one says, the mind, body. Oh, there it is in the chat. Thank you. The mind, body, spirit complex known as Daniel. Thank you. That's very helpful. Okay, here we go. So we're just looking at the energy between Renee and Daniel. I'm gonna have a moment of awkward radio silence. Well, okay. I mean, here we go. If we're asking what is the blockage, there's blockages to this on both sides. And I'm not saying these are like deal breaker, like can't go forward blockages. I would say possibly on her side, there's certain types of expectations or a couple things that she's wondering are going to be different or change, or just there's been some unspoken needs that have yet to have been voiced that aren't necessarily set up to be reciprocated as of yet. And then we look on the other side, which I'm going to take as Daniel's side, and there's just like belief systems and hesitancy about certain things. I don't mean on a toxic level. I mean, maybe even it's just minor residue of these things, but the blockages, I would say, mutual. It does feel as though you've done this in other lives. I would say that there's definitely a future for both of you guys, whether it be just through an entanglement like this, or whether it be through a more fully fledged out in the open relationship. If you're wondering, like, why is something not happening now? Why are we not able to make the leap or make something maybe more permanent? I don't even know if that's the right word, or just more established, at least from an empathic perspective. And what do I mean when I say that? I'm kind of, you can imagine we're sort of feeling it with a blindfold on, and you're kind of placing your hands around an object saying, well, it feels like this, sounds like that. You know what I mean? We're examining the kind of layers of energy around it. And if I would say that while there's some blockages on both sides, it's nothing too catastrophic, but it doesn't feel as though it's the right time for the seed to sort of be planted and grow and sprout in the way that you're asking for it to do so. It's like there's going to need to be a little bit more time and allowance of something. And I think there's also going to be something that you're going to learn in the coming weeks. And trust me, I don't mean in a negative way. I'm not giving you a foreboding sort of, prediction. I'm just saying that your eyes are going to be opened about certain things in the near future. And I think that's going to change the nature of just maybe how you feel about yourself in this relationship, what your expectations are, what you believe you deserve. Because I would also say it feels like maybe each of you is almost like compromising in certain areas of their life, or maybe they're even attached to other people in fragmentary ways. Maybe not ooh, big. There's a big buzz there. That's wild. I'm not saying that's the reality. You're gonna know what it is. I'm just giving you examples of what the type of feelings are that come through. But if you're just even questioning it, please don't. You are meant to be in this relationship with this person right now. I would just give it some time. With that, I'm gonna pull a card for you. Here we go. Ready? Hopefully some of that made sense. 3, 2, 1, and what? Oh my God. Okay, when does it ever happen that we're talking about love and a relationship and the literal lovers show up? And I see you say it in the chat. Roy Diamond Heart says there seems to be a slight buzzing audio-wise. Yeah, there is for once. It's weird. It's weird. Hopefully, yeah. Anyway, hello, those of you from the 3-letter agencies. I'm glad you caught up with us tonight. Anyway, Renee, you got the lovers, which says, honestly, you're meant to be in this situation. Please don't overjudge it in the now moment. Take stock of what truly is and allow yourself to come to a place of acceptance in who you are and what you are. If you're wondering what to heal when you see the lovers, you're healing your role as the divine feminine. You're meant to devote yourself to understanding yourself as the divine feminine aspect of a certain relationship, or a process or an embodiment of a period of time that you've chosen to spend with this person. So you're really going to be playing into your roles of femininity, and you're also going to be helping him work within his roles of masculinity. But if you're, once again, I know I'm going on and on, but you're definitely meant to be connected with this person right now. I would say just allow it to be as it is for the moment, and you're going to know more when things are scheduled to change. And so anyway, I'll stop there. I think the buzzing stopped as well. As soon as
You know what?
we
I think that was. I'm going to be honest. I think that was my fault. I think I had my phone near the speaker. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, that was my fault. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, at least I'll be honest. If I thought it was like the CIA, I would be like, But no, I wanted to bring up this next one. This was a really scary one, and if I would have saw this earlier, I would have got this earlier. And I hope this woman's okay. It says, note from Melissa. I'm just going to say Melissa. I'm not going to say her last name. She says, I'm in a very dark place right now, bordering on unaliving thoughts. Is this AI? She says, psychic, any insights? Welcome. I'm at a point where I don't want to see it another day. And there's no avatar to pull up her. I don't think she wants me.
That's okay.
Yeah.
What was her first name?
Melissa.
Okay. So I pray that you're still listening, Melissa, but we're gonna very sincerely send some healing, grounding energy over to you, so that you can kind of navigate your way out of all this crazy mental buildup or all these thought forms or this attack that you're in. I mean that sincerely, whether it's this, whether it's that, whether it's just your own emotions. I'm just saying it publicly. We just pray that you receive relief from whatever you're going through right now. And I say that as a person who has felt like incredible amounts of psychic and weird attack scenarios in this life. I trust me. I feel I feel you. And so I guess the question is it an AI? Maybe that's kind of she's working with. I'm gonna try to tune into her. It feels like it's hard to do in the moment but let's just kind of feel into the energy. It's like there's even a shakiness of your voice right now. It's like I can feel the trembling. And so I think it's just time to acknowledge the depth of your ability to express and feel emotions. It feels as though you're experiencing a tremendous amount of what we would call empathic buildup, meaning just, number one, your own traumas that you've had to endure, but also energies of other people and the world and the intensity that is just reflected at you. It's like you've just been soaking it up like a sponge, and you're at a bit of a breaking point. Would I call this an AI-induced attack in your case? Honestly, no, but it does look like, and I say this from the perspective, for those of you guys that are listening right now or watching, I say it from the perspective of, you're watching somebody from down the street. Like, I think it's important for me to say that. So it's like some people I'll tune into, it's like you're right there in their face and you're like directly connected with them. And for other people, it's like they'll be in varying stages of distance. And I describe this one as like being, you're part ways down the block, you know what I mean? So you're a ways away from me in the moment, which is very, very common, but you can still examine the, just certain things about their energy field. And it feels very, very pressurized, I would say, first off. Secondly, I don't know that I would call this like an AI attack scenario, which is such a loaded term. We're going to learn so much more about that in the future, you guys. Oh my God. But it feels like incredible buildup of thought forms and emotions. And it's like you have doors open in your auric field, which honestly, if you sort of grounded yourself and I'll just be real, if you change your diet and ground yourself and really, really, really vent out a lot of intense emotions, you're going to notice a massive change, because it's sort of like your body's configured right now to attract certain types of intensity or negativity. It'll happen from time to time. So I'm not saying it's like you have an attachment. I'm not saying it's implantation. It doesn't feel like it's really specifically any of those, but you have a lot of doors open. And I think when you have a lot of doors open, anything can walk through. You know what I mean? Like anyone can just roll in. And so I would say, emotional grounding is also going to greatly aid you. But anyway, I'm speaking a little bit out of turn because her energy is a little far away, but we'll just say, I pray it helps. I'll pull a card for you before we move on. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Oh, look, there we go. It came back to us. What a perfect description of maybe something you've been feeling lately, Melissa. And it's build up, all kinds of stuff. Feels like it's tied in with some kind of like emotional factors with your immediate family, like certain elements of what we might call just programming from early childhood. I also feel like relationships, maybe there's been some narcissistic kind of relationships that you're holding residue in your emotional body from, but you have the 9 of Swords, which I would say really this is just the time to communicate about what you're going through. Find a trusted friend and talk it out. Don't allow yourself to be overtaken by the intensity of what's going on in your mind or your heart, because Nine of Swords can be very easily fixed. We just have to come to terms with it and find someone that you can trust and just be like, look, I need to unload all these swords. Which, once again, what are swords, you guys? What are we talking about when we're talking about swords in the world of tarot? Thoughts, things in your mind, words, like when you're meeting with a person and you're having a heart-to-heart chat, it's like that's a game of swords. Believe it or not, when you're having an argument with someone, that's definitely a game of swords in the world of tarot. But yeah, you need to just vent it and talk about it. And anyway, I'm just going on and on. I'll stop now.
That was amazing, man. That was it was awesome. We have 1, 2, 3 more to go, and then that's as far as people who donated. The next one is Ursula, and I love that name, Ursula. It reminds me of like a name from a punk rock girl from back in the day. And it really does. But she says, "What is the real or root cause, spiritual or otherwise, of my chronic health condition?"
I feel you. Tell us if you can, what's your chronic health condition? We can do the psychic quiz game if you want, but I thrive on having more information. So if you're in the chat and if you're willing to just say one of your diagnoses, it will help greatly. But I'm going to feel into you regardless, and we're going to see what shows up. And so, Ursula, just like we've did with other people, once again, you'll hear this 10 seconds after I say it. But we're just going to take a slow breath in, hold it and release it in 3.
She says,
2.
"Oh, sorry."
Oh, no, go ahead. What?
She says central sensitivity.
Whoa, wild. I don't even know what that is. So perfect.
And that's weird because you know everything about the body.
No, oh my God.
You know a lot. You know a lot about the energy body. You know a lot about the physical body,
I know so little. I know enough to know I know nothing at all.
She says it's a psychosomatic stress condition.
You're already hitting a big ding ding because there's something there. But anyway, you don't have to say anything more. We're gonna tune in and we're gonna find. I mean, I can already feel the vibration of your energy body, which is cool. So thank you for being willing. It looks like you're very attentive and kind of present within the moment, which is very cool. I will also say you have, and so once again, for everyone that hears some of the really wild and weird things that I say, your body's going to show you what's true. So, you know what I mean? Some of the things I say will be dead on. Others, you'll be like, what? Your body's going to vibrate. You'll get a feeling when you know what's true. But I would say from the start, Ursula, you have a very well-formed astral, or what some might call light body, just a vehicle within what we would call the non-physical realm, through which you can travel, through which you can create change, through which you can experience things. It's oftentimes the mark of what we would call a healer or a mystic, or a person that has done a similar work to what I'm talking about in other lives, or maybe in this one. It's a sign that you have a lot of abilities. I'm being very authentic about that. If we were looking at maybe one of what might be the root causes of the overly burdensome psychosomatic kind of central sensitivity thing, that feels like really, really open empathic body, which for some people is a horrible liability because you develop like autoimmune disorders at certain stages of your life. You get, weird syndromes, where they're like, like you'll end up at the doctor with all kinds of inflammation or sickness or pain in your body, and they'll be like, there's nothing wrong with you. You know what I mean? And you're like, no, there is. It's like you have a very open and activated energy field, which to me is a very cool thing. But it's also a big liability for a lot of people, because you guys will find this to be true. And I don't know, there's always exceptions, but it's one of those things where it's like, if you don't use it, it can use you. And by use you means, you could be subjected to different types of energetic maladies or physical things or illnesses or emotional distortions. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, okay, I see your comment there. The docs say there's nothing wrong. That's usually one of the greatest signs that it's an empathic, energetic wavelength within the body. And I'm not saying that's the only causative factor. I'm just saying well, I'll be real. There's thousands of people I've seen over the past 8 years that have this. So you are in very good company. You're in very good company, but it usually means that you have an incredible ability. It's just that the settings of your energy body will get twisted around, and it's almost like it's attacking itself. And so, honestly, I would say, like, if you wanted to start hyper focusing on an area of your body, and maybe you're already doing this, I'm just telling you where I feel a pulse of energy. I would start with your hips and the pelvic floor muscles and begin to really work on opening up your hips, to really stretching and strengthening that part of your body. And the reason why I mentioned that is multifold. Number one, because it has your psoas muscle right there, which is your emotional core. And for a lot of people, you guys, if you have a lot of intuitive or, just ability, like non-physical energetic ability, and you can tell that it's locked up in your body, and you can feel that there's something there, but you don't know how to get it out. Dude, for so many of us, it's in your hips, in your psoas, in your groin, in the corners of your groin. It just balls up in that area. People have written books about it. It's well known. Any type of early childhood trauma that you didn't deal with, it'll just go and kind of hide down there. And there's certain stages of your life where, like, if you really work on opening it up, you can change everything. And I'm kind of a living example of that, although I need some work in my own way there right now. I have spent a lot of time in previous years trying to open that up. I see one of the comments in the chat, Surface Planet, says there's a chakra dantian. Absolutely. And what I'm talking about is the lower dantian restriction that a lot of people get, just because they seem to know what they're talking about. There's a restriction process that happens with some of what some people would call coagulative energy centers, meaning the dantians are kind of like a mixture of chakras and like other energies, but there's this restriction process that we can go through where we'll sort of like, it'll get pinched off. Kind of like a hose, you know what I mean? Like when a hose gets pinched and the water stops coming through, it'll sort of trickle, but it won't really come through. And so one of the first gateways that you open up is your hips and your groin. And so I would, like, if you really want to open that part of your life up and begin using the energy differently, I would do that. I would begin practicing any form of qigong, shengong, neigong, you know what I mean? Any form of internal martial arts, I think, are incredibly powerful. I do it literally every day. But those are just the free things, you know what I mean? Those are free things. Anyway, I'm kind of ranting at you, Ursula, but it feels like you have more of an ability than like a malady. You know what I mean? Especially if you're overly sensitive. It's like your body, you'll just need to learn how. I know that sounds so simple, right? All you have to do is learn how to take control of the sensitivity of your auric field, which you can do. You can also, at times, I'm not trying to sell you anything here, but you can book sessions with people that can help you do that. We do that a lot. But I also say that because some people don't ever need to book a session with anyone. Don't buy into those people that are like, and guess what? If you book my special or if you get 3 sessions with me, I guarantee you. Well, you know what I mean? Those are usually just stupid games. But sometimes people can help you with that as well. And so anyway, I'm just kind of rambling now. I'm sorry.
No, that was amazing, man. It was a really good reading. I waited till the end to smoke because I didn't want to be like
okay,
out.
I don't mind. I didn't want to, man.
We got another kind of an emergency situation. This is Michelle, and she sent me a private message. She says she wants to know what's going on. Something's going on. She has a weird energy in her bedroom. The more that she comes out, it seems like the more she's targeted. Like the more she's like trying to, do podcasts. And so she studied under Renetta, but she also wants to know what's happening with her boyfriend too. She thinks her boyfriend might be seeing someone else or something like.
Oh, really? Oh man. Okay.
But she also has a weird energy in her like room, and
that's okay. It's twofold. We'll just see whatever shows up. Let's see what shows up. What was her first name again?
Michelle.
And can we have the first name of the person that she was asking about?
Aaron.
And Aaron. Okay.
She says she's reading her message now. She says she feels like she has alien tech around her neck and a tentacle in her solar plexus.
Okay, let's just kind of, here we go, guys. We're going to have awkward radio silence for a few moments here. We're just going to take a breath in. There, I think that's you. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, I guess maybe this will sound like a contradiction of sorts. You appear to, I believe this is, yes, this is you. You appear to have incredible layers of protection around your energy body. You've already endured many things in this life that might have killed other people. There's really not too much that they're going to be able to do to you right now. Yeah, they might make you crazy. Yeah, you might leave some passageways or doors open in your auric field just based upon the intensity of your thoughts and your desires, and even especially your resentments and those sort of nagging, wandering things that you've been sending out there. It's like, just know that when you're sending energy out, you really are carving a hole and kind of sending that out into cyberspace, or that astral space. Maybe that's the right term. So you know what I mean? You're very active and alive within that sort of non-physical realm, and I think with that, it sort of attracts attention. I It's like, I don't want to contradict anything, but it doesn't feel like there's any sort of like beings or real direct parasitic type of attachment that's feeding off you right now. What I will say is that it feels like there's sort of openings within the energy body, like kind of around the back of your head, or like around the sides of your neck, where it's like there's a draft, and if the right energy comes around, it can sort of, siphon energy from you, or kind of influence thought patterns. It doesn't look like it's happening like all the time, but I think part of this is going to be due to just you kind of leaving certain areas of your auric field open. So maybe if you want to do some strengthening or like grounding practices, or really even just visualize, like with the mind of a child, you closing up a field of energy around you, kind of like when you're in the shower and there's a draft coming in. I think that could have a big impact on you. It does feel like there's been some form of energy around the throat in the past, that some of that sensation could be influenced. But I'll just be real, I don't think it doesn't feel like there's something there in the now moment. You will know, though. You'll know. Sometimes it's just thought form energy that will get passed on. But I would say, take this as a sign of an upgrade within your energy field, because if you desire, or if you fixate, or if you really try to connect with a thing or a person right now, you're really, really gonna do it. I would say that's the most important message, because it looks like what's happening with energy around your room, like up in the, to me, it looks like upper corners. It's transient energy, and it's, you know what I mean? You're like, what is that smell? Oh my God. Way. So it's like a transient thing. But anyway, we're going to put a card for the relationship stuff. What was the guy's name again? I'm sorry. Do you remember, Rob?
Aaron's your boyfriend's name. Yeah.
Nice. That's my middle name. Okay, here we go. This is just where we're going to take a quick look. Guys, what does she need to know about the connection with Aaron? Can you guys give us a symbol? What's happening? Give us something we can understand. 3, 2, 1, and boom. Oh, what a glorious non-answer. You know what? I would say you have a 6 of Wands between yourself and him right now, which means there's a lot of go-ahead energy. There's a lot of possibilities. People have been given authorization to do this or that. It's not a deceptive energy. It's I would say, to make it specific, this is giving you authorization to investigate more deeply. If you feel that something is off, or something is being withheld, if you feel that there's a behavior or a strand of some kind of difficult energy being shared in between you guys right now, and the 6 of Wands comes into your readings, that's not them saying yes, it's true, or no, it's not true. That's not them saying your suspicions are correct. 6 of Wands is not meant to do that. It's meant to authorize you to step forward, to take an action, to initiate a process in your life. And so I would say this is a time to investigate deeper. I would say the empathic impression that I get from it was Aaron, right? Was it Aaron? Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I was
Yeah.
muted. Yeah, that's
Cool,
her
cool, cool.
boyfriend.
So,
Yeah.
what I would say is the empathic feeling that I get from him is guarded or closed off in a certain way. And I'll be real, I think that there would even be some psychics that would say, well, he feels very closed off, and that means he's got something to hide. Some people would say that. I'll be real. Some people will say that. I don't really like to make that judgment because we close ourselves off for a number of reasons, but I would just say something about him doesn't want to be read in the energy of the moment, or maybe just in general. Because a lot of times when we're doing like these distant readings, it's like you're looking at someone through the window in their house, and they might not even be, you know what I mean? You're not going to be able to get a real firm picture of everything. I mean, some people can do it. But you know, I just pulled another card on. We don't need to go into it, but I would say this is a time for you to investigate further, so you can stop yourself from feeling depleted and attacked and weighed down later on. I'm not going to make a big deal about your 10 of Swords, but it's just time for something to be. It's just time for something to be addressed. There we go. When I get to this point where I can't say words, I think they're saying the reading's over. But anyway, I hope it helps. Believe in yourself. You're very well protected, more so than a lot of other people.
That's amazing, Michelle. I hope that resonates with you. And then Selena donated for Kasen. Kasen's from Sri Lanka, and I know Kasen has like he's very talked openly before. He's trying to beat addiction. Well, I think it's a different. I think it's like prescribed medication type thing. So it's not like he's not like he's getting it off the street or anything like that. But he's like,
it's okay.
He's been very open about it in the chat. Otherwise, I wouldn't say anything like that. But like, I asked him if he had a question, and thanks, Selena, for donating for him. But like, that's what I know about him. I know he's from Sri Lanka. I know he's a really intelligent guy as well. He's an awesome dude. Yeah,
no, I feel you. Addiction has been one of the primary, I guess, healing.
Oh, he is in the chat. He said yes, anti-anxiety.
Cool. Yeah. Having to deal with that stuff, the medical version of it and the illicit version of it were some of the primary missions of my life. And
here's what I was going to say. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say, like he said, it's anti-anxiety. Like Amanita is good for that because Amanita works on the GABA receptors, but I don't know for sure. You know what I mean? Like
it probably would help. I can tell you what. Actually, yeah. Let's try to tune in and feel the body. So I don't just keep ranting here. Kase.
No, dude. Go ahead. No, go ahead. I'd love to hear your opinion on stuff. Like, go ahead. It's all right.
It's all good. We're gonna. Oh no, it's totally cool. We're gonna tune in directly to his energy body, and so just like we do with everybody else, Kase, and we're gonna take a slow breath in. Whenever you hear me say this, it'll be a few seconds after I do it. In 3, 2, 1, breathe in. Just hold it for a second and press it out of your body. There you are, instantly, like a Christmas tree. Lots of intestinal energy, I can tell you that much. Lots of, so yeah, I would just start out by saying you have a lot of compressed emotion. I would say they're like, just one of the things that's going by is a lot of like mother's energy, just early childhood emotions and like expectations and even some cultural stuff all kind of swirling around in the intestinal regions. You have a really high empathic sensitivity. That's been a theme for a lot of people. I would say probably is a theme for most of the people that watch your show, Rob. Anyone that's attracted to this, it's like you when you clear up this part of your energy body, you're going to be very effective at judging when people are lying, when they're telling you the truth, when they're not telling you the truth. Maybe you already have probably a lot of skill in that area, Kasen, but that's in your intestines right now, and a lot of that is blocked up. I would just call it looks like a mixture of, I'm just going to put a label on it. I might be wrong, but it's like there's some benzodiazepine kind of energy in here. It feels like there's some residue of like opiates at certain points, which isn't bad. I mean, I spent a lot of years of my life addicted to all kinds of stuff. But I would say the gut biome is just very off. I wouldn't even say like full-blown toxic, just very acidic. You have a lot of residues of just emotions and energies and stuff you've gathered from other people, and like there's like it's like a biofilm. Yeah, I would say, wow, you're very open. Good job, my friend. Down toward the colon, you have a lot of kind of biofilm buildup, and I know we're getting really specific, you guys. I'll
No, it's
just say,
awesome. It's
I'll
amazing.
just say,
This is
like,
amazing, dude.
yeah, the year of 2023 and 2024 were the years where I think I started doing medical psychic work, but you can't really say that. Sorry. I
Yeah,
mean,
we're not giving medical advice, YouTube, so don't get us down. But I mean, like,
yeah.
we know, all of us that
This
know
is
know that
pure performance art. This is just performance art for the novel that I'm writing. But yeah, I would say intestines is going to be a place of an incredible opportunity for you. And I'm gonna pull a card for you. I think I kind of got kicked out of your energy field there. I did it to myself. But a lot of the issues that you're dealing with has to do with you being one of the primary frequency holders, or what we would call like the person in your family line who chose to take upon themselves the karma and the weight and the responsibility of changing and healing long running issues in your family and your ancestry. It's like you're that person in your bloodline, Case, and it's like that comes. This is going to sound dumb, okay? Get ready for a cringe statement. That's one of those, with great power comes great responsibility. Although right now you're just feeling the weight of it all and the buildup, and so it's like when you get an issue, it's going to be like 10 times worse than other people. And I guess what I'm saying is your first step, I think, is going to be a really thorough detox, reconditioning the gut, as much kind of therapeutic kind of talk therapy and just connecting with people in new ways, because it feels like you have a lot to offer the world and a lot of like ability to connect deeply with people that you never really got a chance to use. You know what I mean? That like you never really got the opportunity to show people who you really are. So I think as you find people that will, that'll help you get closer to that, it'll change. And honestly, you might be one of those people. I don't, this is probably not legal for you, but you feel like one of those people where some people will cringe and think this is a horrible thing to say, but you could switch to weed. I'm just saying, you feel like one of those people that could switch over to cannabis, and that will handle a lot of the issues for things that you've had to take pharmaceuticals for. I mean, yes, then that can become a band-aid and an issue in and of itself, but it's going to be far less toxic for your gut. Because to me, that's the place that really sticks out when I feel you. It's like incredible, just like intestinal energy and like all this stuff kind of. So, anyway, I'll stop there. Just because I'm holding it in my hand, we're gonna pull a card for you. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, he says he can't. My body rejects it. When you clear your alimentary canal, that's the full thing, that whole pathway, you might be able to receive it differently, or maybe you don't need it. Anyway, that aside, Case and Lee, you got a 5 of Swords, which I gotta be real. It can be a difficult place to be. It's a time in your life where you're not going to really know exactly what's going on. Is it them? Is it me? Is it my problem? Is it an attack? Like what is this angular, very difficult, unbalanced energy that I have, or that I'm involved with, or is around me? 5 of Swords can be a difficult thing. If you're wondering what you're asked to do right now, it is to focus only upon yourself, your own direction. I'm going to say a really, really wild thing to you, and you're going to be like, what? I'm going to be real. When you get a 5 of Swords in your life, fuck what anyone else is thinking. It doesn't matter what they're doing. It has no bearing upon you. It's all about yourself and your own direction and what you believe is right and what you believe is clear. And I get that can be difficult when you're in that state, but you really have to adopt that attitude where you're like, I don't give a fuck what anyone else is doing. I'm going my direction. 5 of Swords can be defeated by firm direction and a decision to stop caring about what the world is going to say, or what they're going to look at, or like whatever's going on in the background, or what anyone could be saying about you. It's like you won't care anymore. And so anyway, someone in the chat said your body won't reject CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. I know a lot of people don't like to hear that phrase because it sounds like something too, traditional and, Western or allopathic, if you want to use that word. Honestly, it'll help you. It will help you to have a place where you can deprogram and talk about stuff. I think that's like a hidden thing for so many of us in this community. As a person that clears energy for people every day and doing what I do, what I've noticed is one of the most healing factors of every session is to give people an open space where you can just talk about the weirdness of what you've had to go through in your life. I would even say that that's usually the place where the most change happens. You know what I mean? And anyway, I'm just kind of talking on and on. Sorry, Rob.
No, you're all right, man. This is awesome. That was an amazing reading for Kase. Sorry, I got an email while you were. I'll share it with you after.
Yeah.
I can't. It's about that girl from earlier.
Oh, right. Nice.
Yeah, I'll tell you after. It's good. It's good. Okay, so we have one more. She's not in the audience. Because she lives over across seas, and she's asleep, I think, right now. So, but that's the last one. But for the donations, yeah, that's the. I mean, we've been going about 2 hours, almost 2 hours.
Oh, good.
So I don't know.
My water just like officially ran out, so that means I'm close to the end. But yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Who is our last person?
Julia Anchorhaven.
Okay, cool. Julia, does she have a question?
No, but she's like.
I see it in the chat. He said Andromedan donated. Oh God. Okay.
Shit! We can't. Dude, we got you.
Don't worry. Don't worry,
yeah,
Andromedan. You'll be after. What was it? Anchorhaven.
Yeah. Drago says that like Anchorhaven, Brian Singh, and Drago were in this like merg group, which is like SSP or something. Like, it's pretty interesting. I don't know much about it.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I can tell you this much. At this stage in the game, ladies and gentlemen, anything and everything is possible. So if you're willing to believe it, you know what I mean? That's our co-creative ability as humans. If you believe it, that it is so. Isn't that how it works? But anyway, that said, for Julia Anchorhaven, let's just see what shows.
The Andromedan's so crazy. The Andromedan. Sorry, I smoked weed. The Andromedan's in the audience. He said the UK lousy people. Like he gets so angry.
I
angry for no reason. You know what I mean?
Andromedan. It's okay. I feel you, man. For real. Okay, so for Anchorhaven, we're just gonna take a gentle pause for that breathtaking moment, which is, by the way, for those of you guys just watching, one of the most useful methods for kind of opening up a person's energy field. It's just a breath. It's like you're taking a whiff of their energy. We're sort of, pulling it in and just examining whatever shows up. And so that said, we're going to go ahead and take a slow breath in 3, 2, 1. You just hold it for a moment and you let it out. And she's not with us, right?
No.
Okay, that explains it. Okay, all right. Okay,
right now. She's a good friend. I just want to say, like, Julia, Julia's a really good friend of mine, guys. So, like, she's like, I think Andromeda was just joking around, like.
Oh no, it's totally cool. It's really no big deal. It's just it helps me understand you guys because I do this. Like, I know this sounds cheesy. I do this literally every day, and in many cases, I don't really even understand what I'm doing. And I know that might sound cringe to some people, but it's like I swear to God, I could feel this woman's laying down. So I'm like, okay, I think this person might be laying down in the moment or in a state of rest and is not actively involved in this, moment, which is not a problem. But I would say the one of the reasons why I say that is because I am immediately drawn to her crown chakra. And it's funny because part of what you were saying prior to this was that she believed that she was involved with some people in some,
She,
maybe we could say, higher dimensional or other type of things. And you know what? It's like when we do see people that have the naturally open crown, I would be crazy to say that's a confirmation of that. But what I can tell you is that there will be a different type or a different, maybe we could say bandwidth. We could say bandwidth of energy that is passing through that person's auric field. Like kind of how, back in the day we had DSL and then boom, everybody went to cable modems and it's like, wow, everything was faster and pure. And it's like some people will have a more open crown chakra, which could mean a lot of things. It could mean that they're in more communication with spirit. It could mean that they've done work upon themselves. It can mean that they've done more activation work within their chakras. It can mean that they just do a lot of Kundalini breath work. It could mean that they do Qigong or yoga or just in a very detoxed open phase. There's a million reasons why. But when it does happen, it's a sign that there's a different force of energy that's working with a person. So that's a very long-winded way of saying your energy field is open on such a level that I would imagine people would be reading that such things like that within your field, or maybe you would be having certain types of remembrances just by being around other people and getting a dose of their energy. It could trigger things for you. At times it can become a liability because when the crown's really open, we could also be influenced. I'm not saying you are, I'm just giving you possibilities. We can be influenced as well with an overly open crown. It can lead to a little bit of mania and overwhelm at times. But that said, I would say areas of opportunity for her, just in terms of personal self-healing, would also be the bottoms of the feet, which for those that don't know, that's the partner aspect to the crown chakra. But the majority of your primary chakras have a partner element in another area of the body. It's one of the things that more people will be talking about in the future. Right now, a few of us are talking about it, but the partner element for the crown chakra is your earth star chakra or your grid chakra at the bottoms of your feet. And so I can just, it's one of those things where I can feel that it's not as firmly planted, which just really means you just need to do more grounding work within yourself, do more work upon staying grounded in the moment, which for some people is overly basic and boring. You're like, what? Oh, yeah, all right. But yeah, it's like a little bit of grounding work. And then I guess lastly, we'll pull a card for you. 3, 2, 1. But oh, what you got temperance. That's a hell of a sign. Maybe you're doing energetic healing work. Maybe you're a healer in your own way.
I was gonna say she's like real witchy and she's a healer and she goes to crystal shows. She sells crystals and she's like real spiritually advanced. You get that?
Here it is. Here it is, literally spirit reflecting that quality to you in the energy of the moment. You receive temperance. Temperance is the mark of the healer. It's the path of the healer. It's a sign that shows up in the life of those who are meant to be a bridge between the spirit world and the physical world. And when it comes in, let's say in moments like this, number one, it's confirming that as a piece of you, but it's also saying that you're called to do work on yourself. If you ever guys, if you ever keep getting temperance in your readings, if you're asking spirit, what do I need to do? What do you want me to do? And they keep giving you temperance, because temperance can be hard to understand for some people. And you're like, what? Why do you keep giving me temperance? Okay. Temperance is them saying you need to do work on yourself. You need to do work on yourself. And it's not saying that like you're doing something wrong or you're sick or you're depleted. They're not trying to point any fingers. They're just saying, we're literally giving you the symbol that says work on yourself, balance yourself. And a lot of times what will happen is you'll take a brief moment of devotion to yourself, your self-care processes and routines. And if you're doing that type of work, a bunch of people show up afterward. Like sometimes we need clients or we need people to work with, or we're just looking for more opportunity. This will bring that into your life, but it's at the cost of you devoting it to yourself first. And so anyway, I'll stop there. I think we have Andromedan left, and I'm seeing something about prawns and shrimp in the chat, which sounds kind of good. I haven't had any shrimp in a long time, which
I haven't either.
I know that sounds so random. People that only listen to the audio portion of your podcast are going to be like, what? What? What we're doing right now is responding to people in the chat on YouTube, and they were talking about shellfish wildly. Although supposedly I'm not supposed to eat shellfish anymore. I might do it anyway. I was doing an Ayurvedic diet for a while, but I think now I'm on a more, I don't know, I'm on something different. I don't know.
Yeah. What's the best diet? What's the best diet that's worked for you? Like, do you do meat all the time, or do you do vegetarian sometimes, or
Honestly,
do you do like?
the one that's been working for me the best has been a really high protein, ultra low sodium diet, just for like liver health and stuff. Which sounds so boring, right? It sounds so boring. Low fat, high protein, low carb. You know what I mean? But that's basically what I've been doing. Earlier this year, I was doing an Ayurvedic diet plan for a while that we stuck to pretty closely, which I'm going to be real, it helped, but it didn't really, maybe I didn't give it enough time. I'm not sure. It didn't feel like the right mixture for me. I've noticed that diet plays a huge role literally, obviously, right, for everybody, but I think that everyone's going to be a little bit different with that. That's why I'm not one of those everyone should be vegan or we should all be full carnivore. I think that I like the idea of eating for your blood type. And I know for me, my blood type requires a lot of fish, which is good because oddly enough, I could eat fish literally every day. I have no problem with it. I just haven't been eating any shellfish lately. But it's like, it's perfect. It just like, it works with my body. So I'm like, I guess I'm in that category. I don't know.
I can ask you a question. Did you ever get a lot of seafood when you were down in Florida? Like, that's one thing. Like, I think I went out for seafood once, but both times I've been to St. Pete's, and everybody's told me, they're like, dude, you got to go for the seafood there. And I'm like, well, I never really, because we get dinners at the conference, right? So like, even like the 3 days that I was there, like before the conference, like we mostly just got like pizza and, like we didn't go out for seafood.
I didn't really do a lot of seafood during my time in Florida, which is wild. It's interesting to think that because I'm living so close to it. But I think it was just the community that we lived in. So I missed out upon the seafood element there, but I did live in San Diego, California for 30 something years. So I'm we know all about it. It's probably amazing. I can tell you that right before we left, I went to the best Italian restaurant I'd been to in my entire time in Florida. That is one thing.
Nice.
Daryl James.
I heard that's hard to find down there. Like,
no, really, it was.
You would find up here, but like down there, it's harder to find.
It took me 4 years. It took me 4 years to find a good Italian restaurant in that region of Florida. And I think, it was like 2 days before we left, Daryl took us out to some restaurant, and I was like, this was literally it was phenomenal. Anyway, it's pointless mentioning it here. I'm just because I'm like 18 hours away, but now I'm in a whole new city of other possibilities. So I'm like,
they have more like the barbecue down there and Tex-Mex and stuff like that, and Mexican food, and
totally.
Dude. One of my things I want to do, and I know we got to get. I would love to. I've been watching like a lot of food review. Like when I was like depressed the last couple of days, like I'm good today, but like I was watching a lot of like food review shows where like these dudes, they go around to like some of these people eat like 6 or 7 times a day, and they'll just go to like.
Yeah, I know, right? How?
I'm like, how do they down that much food, But then also, like, it's like some of it's like really good food, but it's like the worst for you. It's like deep dish pizzas and chicken wings, and it's like, it's like really good, but like because I was like, man, I'd love to have a show like that, but I was like, I couldn't eat 7 times a day, like really bad shit like that. You know what I mean? That's like,
I think that's sort of like a TV thing. I have this idea that in a lot of cases, it's just that one scene where they're all. They take one bite and it's like, oh my God, let me tell you about the experience. And then they put it on the side and some like assistant, grabs it and is like, takes it away. And, I don't know. But, I don't know.
That's a good point because they somehow manage to stay in good shape, right? Like or me. Like I don't know. I can't eat hardly anything. Like I don't
I
know.
feel you, man. I feel you. I feel you. We were gonna do a reading for Andromedan,
Oh,
right?
and yeah, I got his question here. Sorry, I had it
I
queued
don't
up.
want to get too, yeah. Otherwise, I'll
He says,
forget
would
it.
like a general reading, and also how much power is in my mind's eye. He says.
That's a fun question. Yeah, let's.
I'll tell you what, Andromeda. I bet you have all the power in your mind's eye because you're a pretty cool dude, and you seem pretty like psychically open. But I don't know, Matthew would know way better than me.
I honestly, Rob, I think you're very, very correct. I'm not sure that there is any way that we can accurately quantify how powerful an area of your own perceptive kind of internal realm is. I'm not sure that there is what I would call like a number or an amount that I would add to it, which sometimes feels like, well, that's a dumb question, but I'm just being totally authentic with you. I'm not sure that it's a thing that, we can measure quantitatively in this moment. What I can tell you is that based upon my experience with you, and honestly, I'll just pause for a quick moment and let me just feel into your energy, and then I'll speak again. So just take a slow breath. Well, from a very surface level perspective, it seems as though you have a lot of channels open that might be responsible for linking you to concepts or elements of higher consciousness that might be through your own process of desire or even obsession. It's like you have a lot of passageways open into what we might even call other versions of you. You can think of it like rays of light or cords that extend out of a central hub. It's like you have a lot of connections to what I would call maybe even other realms or other worlds, because I know those have been the basis of a lot of your questions, and it stands to reason that you've spent a lot of time like investing yourself within those things. And I think it would be good to know that you have made connection with a lot of those things in this life, but it's not that your third eye is 89% open or 57%. I can't really quantify that. I would say if you want the mind's eye to grow stronger, and this is something that goes for everyone that is watching, if you want the mind's eye to grow stronger, you must continually connect with the childhood imagination, that version of you that still believes all magic is real and everything is possible. Seriously, though, the realm inside your heart and your mind where you feel as though you're making everything up, that is the most fertile ground for creation within your own internal realm. But we're taught here in the physical body that that's just you making it up. Oh, that's just your imagination. Well, yes, literally, that's it. That's the key. So I would say keep your imagination open, and over time you will begin to learn very definitively what is real, what isn't. Maybe work on your vagus nerve and sort of do some breath work. But anyway, I'm just going on and on. Let me pull a card for you before we go, Andromedan. Here we go. Ready? For those of you with Andromedan, give us a percentage. Are there any percentages in the world of tarot? I don't think so. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. What? Oh, hell yeah. We haven't seen a lot of, well, no, I guess we saw one Wands card. And so for Andromedan, you got a King of Wands, which honestly, straight up, is Spirit telling you it's time for you to get what's yours, to put your hand out there, to continue to seek, to fulfill your desires, to be willful, to go for what you want. You're going to learn by doing, not through a book, not through a video, not through a class. You must experiment. You must try. And so as you go forward into opening the third eye and perceiving reality in different ways, understand that it's rightful for you to call it in, for you to claim it, for you to expect it in a certain way. And I guess lastly, this will be the last thing I say, get close to fire. Get close to fire. I'm just saying, because that's a thing the King of Wands would do. He would get close to fire. He's masculine fire. So anyway, I will stop there.
Michelle had a question. She wanted to know what school you went to because she grew up in like the same area, I think.
Where? Oh, in San Diego. I went to Poway High School, class of 1995.
Oh, I was 98.
Yeah. I was class of '95, Poway High. My sisters went to other schools. Like I think one of them, went to Mission Bay High School. Actually, they both might have gone to Mission Bay, but yeah, I graduated from Poway High, which is
Dude,
just
I
this.
just realized something. Me and you were both lucky. I don't want to jinx us, but neither of us have gray hairs yet. I
Well, I
mean, I don't want
definitely
to.
I have some gray hair. I have more hair loss than gray hair. Some of you guys will notice it. I have less gray hair, more hair loss. Although it's weird, it's been coming back in this weird way. I don't know how. It just kind of, it comes and goes. Maybe stress related, but.
And then I know you don't do this, but Entertainment Extreme Network, he wanted to know what how he can find out what starseed family he belongs to. I don't even know how to answer that. I mean, I know he doesn't want a reading, but I just figured like, would you go to like a galactic astrologer or something like that, like or something?
What was this? What's this person's screen name?
Entertainment Extreme Network.
Entertainment Extreme Network. Okay, we're just gonna pause for a quick second.
It sounds like a wrestling organization.
I don't know. I like the name of it. I think that you're at the stage in which these energies or these collectives are going to show themselves to you in your own way. Meaning, as you continue to research and uncover and look at videos or things, you'll be given synchronistic signs that will show you some of this braces that you're linked with. And then at the same time, I would say that we're at a stage, I think, with that phenomenon here within, our kind of soul group where I think it's not so much that it's a flawed thing, but there's so many different types of extraterrestrial groups that are working alongside and with us as a human race right now, that I think we do ourselves a disservice by only mentioning the big five, the Syrians, Pleiadians, what are the other ones, Orion, whatever. There's like the big five that everyone always, that everyone always mentions. And, at times in the past, I've been very kind of hard and confrontational about that being a weak point when it comes to looking at star origins. So I would say take it with a grain of salt. But I think that it's no mistake when you come to the stage of your awakening journey where you start to look at those things. And even though we're working with a very diluted and oversimplified set of sort of beings right now, I think, you're still going to have a resonance within some of those. So I guess the cheap answer is that's a thing that you're going to be discovering through your own desires and what you feel drawn to. However, I believe the real answer is often far beyond that. I think that we don't even know the names of many of the groups that are working alongside us. And that's by design. That's the way it's supposed to be. And what I think a lot of people would agree with me is that when you really step outside of the human physical body, it's like there aren't really any names. It's like you don't know beings by a name, you know them by a vibration, or like I guess we could call it an energetic signature. And I don't know, maybe I've been blessed to encounter that in this life, or maybe that's just some kind of, insanity, dissociative bullshit. I don't know. But it's like, that's been my experience. They don't come in going, hello, I am, Thorhan from the Pleiades. Nobody.
Wait, Thoran supposedly talks to who, right?
I mean, I'm just using that as a random example.
I'm kidding.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, it'll show up for you in a different way. And I think what part of the fun and the experience of the awakening journey is you get to find who you're drawn to. So anyway, that's just a long-winded way of saying you're probably going to be finding out based upon your own experiences soon. So I'll shut up now. Okay.
Yeah, dude, this was awesome, man. I thought this went really great. I thought this was,
Thanks for having me. Totally. Was there any questions that we missed before we go? Was there any big questions? Those of you guys out there, copy pasted the chat. If there was a thing you wanted me to mention, I shouldn't say that because there's like a 12-second delay, so it won't show up until later. But
Michelle says, "Love you, Matt," and everybody's like, oh yeah, you can see the chat,
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. And yeah, you guys can find me at rememberyourmission.com for anyone that wants to book a session or a reading. This is literally the only work that I do in this life. I know that sounds cringe to some people. It's kind of the only thing I know how to do in this life. I was literally telling that to this guy today. I feel like he was in Germany or something. And I was like, thank you, because this is the only thing I know how to do now, which is wild because I guess we're doing something right. People keep asking us to do it, but you guys can reach out at Remember Your Mission. I haven't done a live on YouTube in like 4 or 5 or 6 months. I'm not sure how long it's been. I've been very YouTube discouraged. However, as soon as we got to Texas, I was like, I kind of want to do videos again. I don't know. I think I'm gonna do it. So we might be doing a live over on our YouTube channel in the coming days. So you guys can find me over on YouTube at Remember Your Mission. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for having me, Rob. I appreciate you.
All right, thanks guys, and have a good night. And thanks to everybody who donated, and we'll see you soon. I'll be back. Tomorrow is James Casbolt at 1 p.m. Eastern, guys. So I'm sure everybody's going to want to tune in for that. Like, that's a big one. So, all right, good night, guys.